Warning, this video is not meant for children and is only suitable for a mature audience as this video has mature themes like blood, violence, sex references and inappropriate language. Everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Child's Play 3 from 1991. To me, Child's Play 3 is the perfect middle child of all the Child's Play movies. It's not as good as the previous two movies I've covered, but it's also not as bad as the next two. It's just right in the middle, just smack dab right in the middle. Before we actually get into the main bit of review, there's one thing we need to say about this movie, and that is it went from concept to release in 9 months. Meaning, yes, if Child's Play 2 was to release in January of 1990, not only would this movie release the exact same year, but in September of 1990. Also meaning, when Child's Play 2 released on VHS, Child's Play 3 trailers were already out and it was about to go into cinemas. And to be honest, this time crunch is really bad. For a lot of horror films, for example, Friday the 13th Part 7, it only took them 7 months to make it. But because it takes a team of 8 to 12 puppeteers to control Chucky, it takes 10 times longer to actually make a movie. So putting them on a time crunch of 9 months is downright ridiculous. And you're probably wondering, why would they do that? And that's because Universal thought that the Child's Play franchise was simply a trend. They wanted to get another movie out to make money. They didn't really think that the Child's Play franchise would last longer past the first few years of its existence. Little did they know the franchise would continue to live on for another 40 years. Anyway, with that being said, how about we get into the review? First thing to mention is the setting. Why is he here? Why are we in a bloody military school? It's Chucky the killer doll, not Chucky the bloody drill sergeant. There is no real reason for us to actually be here. And what doesn't help this bland setting are the bland characters. They are all stereotypes ripped from the movie they are trying to be. You have the nerd, the badass love interest, and the abusive drill sergeant. None of them subvert anything. They are all one-note stereotypes, and from that description alone, you know exactly what they're gonna do. But at the same time, it really wasn't that bad. It was just really uninspired and really uncreative. None of them just made me want to rip my skin out. It's more of just, you could have done a bit more, but to be honest, it isn't terrible. What about Chucky's design? Well, I'm mixed on this one as well. His face feels oddly like squished up and his hair is all over the place, which I think definitely makes him look more psychotic and a lot more scary. His eyes are a lot more scary looking as well. They look a little bit more crazed compared to beforehand. But at the same time, his movements, they're a lot more static. And to be honest, like we said, this movie went from concept to release in 9 months. That's probably a result of that. Another thing we like to talk about is Chucky's iconic quotes. Let's see which ones are in this film.
Don't fuck with the Chuck. Tampering with the mail is a federal offense.
You know what they say. You just can't keep a good guy down. Andy, how you've grown.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Presto, you're dead.
They're not the best, but they're also not the worst. Literally just the exact quality of this movie. Maybe every Child's Play movie is good depending on the Chucky quotes. We're going to test that. I guess we'll know the answer to that when I do the rankings, I guess. But on another note, what about the kills? They're not even worth putting a clip in, to be honest. They're nothing. They really don't do anything to stand out within the franchise, like, at all. Okay, let's talk about the good things of the film, and that is, well, some characters are good. For example, the hairdresser guy. I mean, he is absolutely insane and very disgusting, but he sticks out. He's a character that you don't see anywhere else. That's what I want to see from a Child's Play film. I don't want to see stereotypes ripped from other movies. I want to see own original characters, and that is one of them. Another scene worth mentioning is actually the paintball scene. This was actually a brilliantly constructed scene. With Chucky replacing the paintball cartridges with live rounds, it made the scene so much more tense, especially since the colour that he replaced them was red. So even when they do shoot them, they have no idea that it's actually real rounds because it's just blood instead of their paint. And since Andy actively goes into the other camp not knowing that this has been switched out, it makes it so much more tense because if they find Andy, they're going to shoot him and he will die on the spot. And this movie has made it explicitly clear that if Andy is about to die, they will kill him. So it's definitely a really good way of making the scene feel so intense and also killing Shelton right there like I've just shown. That was twisted. Whoever the hell shot that gun is going to have PTSD for the rest of their life. They are never going to want to pick up that paintball rifle ever again. It was just so amazing. Like, I really didn't think this movie could make something so brilliantly pasted. Although I do question it a little bit. I mean, they're using paintball rifles. Why would they be able to switch out paintball cartridges with real rounds? I don't really get the logic behind that. But to be honest, I don't care. It was great. It was really tense. A good way to really show that they really aren't scared of killing Andy. Obviously, they don't kill Andy because kind of the main point of the whole franchise. But it really does get you into the feeling of, damn, he could die any moment. However, let's dial it back a little bit. The final scene was downright stupidity. You're telling me some carnival lackeys are going to set all of this up? Like, keep in mind, this is a pop-up carnival. It's going to be there for like 3 days maximum. Why would they put this much effort in to make this giant thing only to take it down 72 hours later? Yeah, I'm not buying it. Something that is worth mentioning is that Andy Barclay has always been played by Alex Vincent. He plays him in the first 2 movies and also plays him for the remainder of the movies as well. This is the only movie where Alex Vincent isn't retaining his role. And to be honest, it's not the best. I'm not going to sit here and say he's downright terrible, because he's not. But at the end of the day, Alex Vincent have left massive shoes for him to fill, and he simply doesn't fill it. One thing that I've envied the other movies for is having Chucky take so much damage before he dies. Well, what about this film? He gets half his face cut off, he gets one arm shot off, he gets one hand cut off, and finally thrown into a giant fan. It's really not that bad. Not as good as the previous ones, not as bad as the next 2 ones, but how many times am I going to say that this video? One thing I want to add to the end of this is that the ending is so dragged out. The amount of times Andy trips, the amount of times Tyler trips, how long Chucky's incantation variation goes on for. Like, it's exhausting. So in conclusion, this really isn't that bad. I know I've slagged on the movie a lot, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's a good movie because it's not. But to be honest, it really wasn't that bad. At most, it's uninspired and uncreative. It just really doesn't do much to stick out. But when you're actually watching it, it really isn't that terrible. It's just, yeah, this is a movie. So to be honest, the best way I could describe this is not bad, but it's also not good either. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a terrible film because it really isn't, but I'm also not going to sit here and suggest it. I can suggest literally 5 other movies in the franchise over it. So yeah, it's not all too great. So what's the final rating? And that is, I'll give this movie a 5 out of 10. And that's the video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload. And also, comment in the comment section down below. Have you watched this film? Did you enjoy it? Do you think it's bad? Or do you think it's good? I'm still very mixed, but I am actually leaning more to the good side. I know I've complained a lot. Last thing to mention, in the description down below, there'll be a link to a playlist with all of my Child's Play videos, including the Child's Play 1 and 2 review, and also any of the future reviews that'll be put on there. Secondly, there's also a link to my Linktree where you can see my Twitch and my Instagram. Twitch I stream every now and again, just when I want to, and Instagram is where I'll put clips from this video and other videos on there. I can also tell you when I'm going to be releasing them, etc, etc, and also post highlight reels of the Twitch stream. So if you are interested in that, link down below. And that's it. Thanks you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.